especially men, let me just say, they don't have, because women talk, we kind of, but if you find a man who has no person who holds him accountable, that there is no person they say they look up to, I'm being coached better, or I walk with a certain, no man walking alone, you'll ever be, it's actually a very dangerous person.
Hi everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Lifestyle Thursday. It's the fifth and final part of a lovely series that we'll be doing with Pastor Jade of Mavuno around her book, The Heart is Not So Smart. And it's about marriage and relationships and also the decisions that we need to make before we get married and who we need to become.
Yes.
You know, just keeping that,
That's
she really
right.
took that title. Yeah, who we need to become. Becoming is very important so that we can get into a marriage and have a whole marriage. So, Karibu, welcome.
Yes. I think even before I talk about the red flags, the other thing I talk about, the only true way of loving self, and I talk about it, is a relationship with God is a grounding foundation.
It is.
Yeah, and because it's not how now we have come to understand, and if you're in the right Bible church and you're growing in faith, you do know a relationship with God is not calling you to perfection. It's calling you to show up. So I feel with knowing who you are in Christ goes way, it covers all these other things, because once God affirms you and you know you are affirmed in God, these other things fall into place very easy. So some other red flags, as you have asked, is first of all, they lie. Yeah. You probably never meet their friends.
Yep.
They never want to, you to meet their friends. They actually have family members they don't talk to, and they will not explain it.
Why they
don't talk to them. Because it's possible for people not to get along. But then there should be a position, bring it to the table.
And let's discuss it.
Do you seek healing? Do they seek reconciliation?
So therefore cutting people off.
If they're for cutting people off, knowing
you will be one of
those
cut off. I think these days red flags are the phone as well. People who are hiding their phone, they take calls, they go outside. Or
what
their
are
phone
the
is on
secret
mute
things
when
people are having?
Which secrets are these? But we need to know them.
It's
but
true.
I was going to say, and it may be controversial, but being 55, I think now I could go through anything because of the relationship with God and the age. Let me tell you, will not disturb my head. Me and my Heavenly Father, I'm just going to talk about you. I cannot even try to waste time, because I think also talking to other people outside who also sometimes want to protect you, because I also think some parents can interfere in a marriage until it breaks, but you know the only thing they want to do is protect you. So I think there's a foundation with God, there's a strength that we have gained roots that you just, for me, like now I know I just have to pray over things.
And also, because we also know one of the things is, I like to tell married women and married couples, there's nothing you can't forgive if the person is asking for it. Honestly, sincere. Don't we know it?
So you be sleeping with someone, I almost want to laugh. Sometimes I have to hold myself.
Bang that door
because
I
want to burst out of laughter. Like, please, Nyamaza, be quiet. And you know the things, you know the Bible says the things that you fear the most are the ones that come. Please be very careful about your Z formation. If he sleeps with somebody else, that is a lot of nonsense and rubbish. We can come back from many things because they are greater. You know, even when the parents just tell us that they stay together because of the children. The number of broken people I've seen, Pastor Jade, sometimes I feel sometimes that is a truth, but you have to be very intentional about it.
I think the just to quantify that, to make sure we don't leave it hanging. There's nothing you can't forgive. There's a place for forgiveness and reconciliation.
Then there's a place
for forgiveness and saying it is well. You heal and you don't carry, then it's not the thing that you keep carrying offense and bitterness in you. Because even I left because of violence. I mean, I do share and I'll share in the next book.
became violent now.
Oh wow. There was emotional abuse and then there was violence towards the end. So the emotional abuse was there when I was dating. The emotional abuse was there. It was a total red flag. Someone will go silent on you for days, then they just show up. And then, or different things would happen, but you're just thinking it's part of a relationship. And because really you don't have a great foundation. But then I say, when you talk about mentors and elders, is to say, it's true you can't tell everyone. But also in the book, I encourage you to find one couple or one lady if you're single, and one man, if you're single, who's older, not your friend. It's not just the person you go have coffee with, the person you go have a drink with. When you want a Shane story, is the person you call, you know. But someone, when you go to sit, it's 2 hours, it's conversation, life conversation. It could be relationship conversation. I like to say, even my therapy on relationships turns out like a relationship coach, because I'm not looking to be your buddy. I'm looking to you to be your best person in a relationship. So there's that avenue to allow that kind of people to speak into your life. Well, it's not full gospel, that you have to take everything the person has said, but it opens up your mind when you engage.
And your thoughts and
possibilities. And your thoughts and possibilities.
Because sometimes I feel like we can only see here, but this person can see there.
Yes.
That they've been through life. So what they're telling you is it means something.
Yeah.
I think one person also once advised me, and it was good advice, that they had 3 mentor couples.
Yeah.
But how they chose their mentor couples is people whose marriages they valued.
Yes.
They admired those marriages.
Yes.
And then they've given them 150,000% meddling rights.
Yeah.
And this person was telling me that he even fears those guys even more than anyone else, because if his wife reports him, she's got then they call him. Now they sit with counsel, and there are three couples, which is good, because it will keep you in check. There's some things that I think we can just get up to because we can. But when you have a check,
that's true.
Then you can't get into it, and then you can't let things drag on forever.
No.
And I think also keeping up appearances. This keeping up appearances is going to kill us. Please,
it's true.
Find some help. Go talk to somebody.
Yes.
Go talk to therapy. Go talk to a pastor. Go talk to someone. But don't keep all these stories in your house and looking for perfection.
And looking for perfection.
I've loved the perfection. That there's no one who is perfect.
There's no one who's perfect.
We're trying to make it every day, and we're just trying to be whole.
I think one last red flag, like I really like to say, if the lady or the woman, especially men, let me just say, they don't have, because women talk, we can, but if you find a man who has no person who holds him accountable, that there is no person they say they look up to, I'm being coached better, or I walk with a certain, no man walking alone. You will ever be. It's actually a very dangerous person. And we're not saying evil, we're just saying it's a dangerous person.
Because those are the ones who can never be corrected.
No, they
can't.
You
look for an uncle, he won't listen. Parents, he won't listen.
Yeah.
Brothers, he won't listen. Colleagues, he won't listen. Peers, he won't listen.
God, he will not listen.
God, he will not listen. We're done. The end.
Yes, it's true.
He must have somebody. That's a very powerful one. He must have somebody that he bounces things off and who can tell him something and he listens.
It is
some
very
sort of
important.
Authority.
I think it's an important quality for, and that level of vulnerability allows someone to grow. It allows, because when you're completely vulnerable, and I remember even when we met you, and I remember you were saying you're divorced, and one of the things that I've struggled about being in ministry and coming out and just being a therapist and sharing is because I'm divorced, and many people said, broken? What are you telling us?
Now you're saying others would write letters to the church. Yeah, I'm telling you the things.
No, me, someone told my mother, told my own mother, can you tell your child to watch herself?
Because she's broken.
She's broken. She can't be in ministry. God doesn't. Told my own mother. How do you get that, Lord, to tell my own mother?
And it's
and break her heart.
How is it your revelation? Me, there's a place that I was being offered a role. Because I love, Christians, they are amazing. We were here laughing with them. They went to write letters. She cannot do this and this because she's broken. It's so sad. We're all broken.
We're all broken people.
Broken in different ways. And then that's how even you get people staying in broken things because they want to keep up appearances of not being broken. Then you have a miserable life and it's only one life. No. We're not encouraging you. I don't encourage people to get divorced.
No.
But I do like that what this is saying is then get married in the right way.
Yes.
Get married in the right way. Think it through.
Yes. In fact, I write
before you get married.
Before you get there, there's a chapter I write, pause. I even say, when you're reading this book, reflect, pause, take a moment to pause and think through about the things I've raised from my own experience. And I use my own experience because I don't want to quote other people, but I know many people who have gone through what I've gone through. But it was more honorable just to use my story without quoting people's story. But we know many people, Pastor Angie, we have gone through these stories. So take a pause, reflect back, and just check yourself. Is it trauma? Is my belief system coming from here? Do I have a pattern how I choose my partner, whether it's a lady or a guy? Do I know my values? Because that's the other thing that has come out very strongly. Many people actually don't know or understand what their values are. They're like, oh, but we go to Sunday to my dad's home every day for Sunday lunch. Then ask them, so you think that's a value? They're like, but we do it. You do believe it. Is it something you want to carry on as a tradition and you say it's a good thing? Or are you doing from cultural? Or just because it's a family tradition? Because if you don't believe it, when you're faced with someone who has a different view, you just flow and change yours, because there's no inner belief. So do the work. The book is about doing the internal work, really, and then get into a place of saying, I'm ready. Not from a perfect place, from a soul that is saying, I'm empowered because I've understood myself, I love myself, I've forgiven myself, I've forgiven the others. I know God has a good plan for me. Marriage is God ordained, so
God ordained.
It should be beautiful, and it will be beautiful because I put God first. Yeah, actually that's the essence of the book.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think many people should read it, because you see even all the stories, some of the stories we're reading in media, you know, like there's one girl who that's story, two of them actually made me really sad.
Even I.
One, I was wondering what would she think as she's going through that emotion. Another one, and she broke her back in 3 places. I mean, what kind of madness is this? But maybe the also us or the girls need to understand who they are. And maybe you need to, before you go somewhere, you need to understand what, you see now maybe there's a value for, if I buy you alcohol, I have to sleep with you. Maybe there's a value like that. So you need to be careful about this value, you know? And then what is this desperation of going out with strangers? Is it for a certain, is it, I don't know whether it's loneliness? Is it to look a certain way? Is it for sponsorship? Is it to show other people you made it? I don't understand. But I think it all goes back to values. What do I value?
Yeah, what do I value? And you know, that's a dangerous conversation, because I try to stay away because it needs to be balanced. I know we bet the men, and I agree.
But the women also have
things
a
are, but we do have one. We do have a responsibility, and because you can't say I was being stolen because I was put myself on the road, but then there's a responsibility. The hour of the night I was out. There are a few things you also need to put to create awareness, so that, because with online dating, I remembered the thought I wanted to share. You see, with strangers, it's become a thing now, because there's a lot of online dating. People are meeting online. But then I'm like, what is the check about online dating? Meet in the day. Have other people, invite them to space, meet in a public space. Don't be alone. Dating groups, I even say it. In fact, you'll know the truth of that other person when you're in a setting of groups. One-on-one is a bit of a lie. There's too much effort put forward. But how they interact with your friends, invite them into spaces that you want others to speak into. I don't know what this is. But you see, the problem is we don't usually want others. We don't want others speaking into it. Then we find ourselves in many situations that, but lack of knowledge is a problem for us anyway. Because I share knowing that I didn't have the knowledge I have now. So I wouldn't blame anyone, because we gain knowledge as we go. As you said, you're 50 something, I'm 47 this year. Well, it's been quite an...
Have you been deliberate with your daughter?
Yes, and my sons.
Oh, your sons as well?
Yes.
Very deliberate on teaching them these values?
Yes. I'm deliberate with both sexes. They are both accountable in who they date. I wouldn't want to give my son to somebody's daughter who has done the work. And my son comes to Filanga free,
and he has not
done the work on himself. And especially coming from a divorced home, I know my children have to do work. I'm not ignorant of it. There's heart there. There's healing needed. There's forgiveness needed. So they have to do the work. So we have done it slowly with small conversations. But as they get older, my oldest is 21, the conversation get deeper. Even on sex, on you know, if you're always walking a girl to the bus stop, niwewe after church, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, every girl is thinking you're the boyfriend. I'm like, boundaries. I ask my children, my son, do you have boundaries around the relationship we have? So I teach. I talk about boundaries.
In the book
That's
as
the other
well?
thing. Yes. So
I know even with my daughter, I've really talked about many things. You know, I've painted possible scenarios. I've said this can happen, this can this, because I don't want. Like again, I recognize she comes from a divorced background. So I have to give her some foundation.
We must.
Because try. I want her to be married and to have a good marriage and to be there, not to decide not to divorce and all that. But also, I think for me, like you said, the stressful point is the choices before.
Yeah.
It's the homework before. Then now when you're in there now, to go up and down, we stay here and do what we need to do. But you've done your work on yourself, and you've done your work on the marriage partner and why you want to personally marry this person. Okay. And I'll never forget, I think I'll end with this. My dad said, my dad, I think he said for half his life, he was on a wheelchair. And you see, sometimes people don't prepare for that. You're just preparing for the good times. But you're not preparing for life happen moments. So what happens if life happens? Are you going to be able to stay with this person? Are you going to be able to engage with them? Are you going to be able to look after them? So I think those are some of the things that we need to have thought about. We're not praying them into being, but we're just thinking, painting scenarios. And I always say, with a partner that you want to marry for life, strip them of everything and say, if I can do life with this person. If there's one thing maybe that's giving you an inkling to stay with them because of something, you need to take that thing away. And just know, what if it was taken away? Are we able to do this? Wow, Pastor Jade, I'm so grateful. Thank you very much. You said you would know where the book is found. And they can read the book, and then you're writing your second book. God bless you greatly, and thank you for coming here.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Can I say something before we finish? This book, Pastor Angie.
At least you're glad you said you wanted Pastor Angie. You are.
This book is, I think, it's not just for women who are also doing. I just wanted to add, remember something because we went to parenting, who is raising girls. And raising, especially girls, because it's written in that tone for women. Not that men can't read, as I said. I found that women who have told me actually to help my conversations with my daughter. Now I know how to phrase them and just not in the air. So you don't have to wait until she's 20 or something. You can read and maybe give you an inkling on how, to have the conversation. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for having me.
God bless you, my dear.
God bless you too.
All right. God bless. I hope you've been encouraged.